A couple of weeks ago, we looked at David's administration and saw the divine record stating that David administered justice and righteousness for all his people. That's in 2 Samuel 8:15. Let's take a look at an example of that. Kings ordinarily killed all the members of a previous royal family. They did this to avoid the obvious threat of previous loyalties trying to return that family to the throne. Kings looked at it as a process of protecting their interests. Several kings in Israel would go on to do this, but David was different. In 2 Samuel 9, we read, "Then David said, 'Is there yet anyone left of the house of Saul, that I may show him kindness for Jonathan's sake?' Now there was a servant of the house of Saul, whose name was Ziba, and they called him to David. And the king said to him, 'Are you Ziba?' And he said, 'I am your servant.' And the king said, 'Is there not yet any one of the house of Saul to whom I may show the kindness of God?' And Ziba said to the king, 'There is still a son of Jonathan who is crippled in both feet.' So the king said to him, 'Where is he?' And Ziba said to the king, 'Behold, he's in the house of Machir, the son of Ammiel, in Lodebar.' His name was Mephibosheth, and he was a son of Jonathan, David's very good friend, in fact. David ended up sending for him, restored the property of his grandfather to him, and had him regularly eat at the king's table. It's in 2 Samuel chapter 9. Now, before you say, well, his father was a close friend of David's, keep in mind that David did not even know this young man. Also, kings always knew the threat of keeping any member of a previous family alive. And by the way, Mephibosheth's servant would later use that knowledge to slander his master. And David believed it. Also keep in mind that the crippled and lame were just as disregarded then as they are in many cultures today. We use laws to keep from putting up barriers, but David did not disregard Mephibosheth. If everyone has a soul and every soul is precious in the sight of God, then how do we look upon others? All of them. David wasn't a typical king in this regard, and we should not settle for being typical in the kingdom of Christ.